Most bad decisions don't feel like bad decisions when they start. Sometimes they start in the front yard, around the fire pit on a quiet Saturday night, with a beer in your hand, cigarette burning, and everyone laughing like tomorrow isn't coming. It was about 11 p.m. I was outside my house with my wife, three of my neighbors. We were all sitting around the fire pit, drinking beer, smoking, joking around, having a good old time. At some point, my oldest neighbor Ted looked over at me and asked if I'd ever drank moonshine. Not yet, I responded. Back then, I was the kind of person who would try almost anything to get a buzz. I told Ted to bring it on. Ted got up, walked back to his house. He returned with a mason jar containing what looked like water. My wife got me a small glass. It's about halfway filled with ice cubes. Ted filled my glass a little less than halfway. Looked like water and smelled like a bad idea. I took my first sip, not thinking too much about it. You know, I heard moonshine burns going down, but this was smooth and sweet. About 3 minutes later, I started to feel it. First came this warm feeling throughout my body. Then the tingling started. Then a heavy, relaxed feeling hit me. I just kind of melted in the moment. I remember staring into the fire pit. Flames started tracing. Every little flicker has these glowing trails behind it, like the fire was painting in the air. Felt like I was peaking on LSD. It was beautiful. I got completely locked into it. Then I looked over at my wife and my neighbor. They all seemed to be glowing. Everything looked soft, dreamy, slowed down. It felt like the whole night had just shifted into another gear. I continued to finish what was left of my drink. At that moment, Ted looked at me and said, "What time are you scheduled to go to work?" I said, "Not till 3 tomorrow evening. I'm good, brother." Ted looked at me and said, "You might not make it." I just laughed and told him, "It's only 11 p.m. I'll be fine." Ted burst out laughing. He said, "You'll see." Well, Ted was right. The next day, I woke up around 1:30 in the afternoon. I still felt absolutely hammered. Got in the shower, still drunk. I ate something. That didn't help. Then I made a stupid decision and drove to work. At that time, I was a dairy manager at a grocery store. The only thing that saved me was that cooler. I could stay inside there, open the cooler doors from the back, push everything forward so customers could grab it from the shelf side. So I stayed back there doing inventory, loading carts, while one of my guys worked the aisle. I felt horrible the entire shift. I was hot, sweaty, trying to sweat that alcohol out of my body in the cold air. I was still tracing a little bit, still feeling off, just trying to survive the day without falling apart. I felt like absolute shit. But I had to work. After all, I had a family to feed. So, needless to say, that was my first and last time I ever tried moonshine. And not because I didn't like it, but because moonshine hits different when you got shit to do tomorrow.